For editing the blog posts, you actually needed to lie to a person. We had the people who got shot.
I saw no people and it was kind of shocking. It was the last plane which flies straight to Switzerland.
You're gonna step on the mines area, either you're gonna pass it by and nothing is gonna happen to you.
Ukrainian family just came out after me.
You have more chances to be killed.
Just random police car took and pick her up. Ukrainians deserve that.
I study in Switzerland, in Geneva. However, I was in Ukraine on the 24th of February because there I just came to visit my family for my holidays and also for some medical issues which I had during those days. And yeah, this is how I ended up there.
Well, there was a lot of talks about it months before everything started, and so it's exactly 24th of February. My father called me in the morning and he was like, hi daughter, by the way, the war actually started today. And I honestly did not believe it. I was like, no, that's just a silly joke or something else. So I went to the social media and on the internet and I realized that literally all of the news were just about that. And yeah, I was super shocked about this, and I did not believe all of this news and everything. So yeah, that was the first day when the war actually started.
So basically, I'm gonna start with the 23rd of February. That day it was like a normal one. I went out with my friends, like we were together until 12 or 11 p.m. Then I came back home and I was like, okay, gonna watch some TikTok, Instagram and all that stuff. And I went to sleep quite late, around 3. And I was thinking about my day, what I'm gonna do like tomorrow and stuff. So like just normal basic things which teenagers think about. And then on the 24th of February at 4 a.m. in the morning, my mom just screams, oh my god, the war started, like, wake up. I woke up and I laughed because I couldn't believe that something like that is actually happening. So I was like, oh my god, like this is just a dream or whatever. So I went back to sleep. And then after 2 minutes, 5 minutes after I went to sleep, something is just getting bombarded like 20 meters like away from my house. At least I felt like that. I heard like a very loud noise and everything. And during that moment, I think it was around 4:20, 4:26, something like that, I actually understood that, okay, everything is real and like now we need to be fast, we need to be doing something. My mom started to pack up very quickly so that, because we were so lost, we didn't understand whether we should leave or maybe we should stay, or like what do we do. No one knew. I also have my grandparents, so my whole family is in the city there. So if we were to leave, we needed to pick up everyone, and then it wouldn't be just possible for everyone to leave at the same time. And also when we wanted to actually get out of the house, the people were already outside of the houses, all over the streets, and yeah, so basically we just didn't have a chance to actually get out of the house, because if we got out and we actually left the city, then it meant for us that we would sleep overnight in the fields, where for sure like you have more chances to be killed rather than when you're staying in the house. At least we thought so. However, after like 2 weeks after the invasion, we realized that actually they don't care about citizens, or like whether it's a house or whether it's a field or whether it's a school even. They just don't care, they destroy everything. As a normal teenager, before the war, I was 16, I just turned 16, that was the second month when I turned 16. I don't know, just basic insecurities about maybe the way you look, or maybe about my grades, how I'm gonna enter the university. Oh my god, we broke up, so this kind of stuff. However, on the 24th, actually on the 24th, I still couldn't really understand and realize everything. I was just panicking so much, and like I couldn't eat for a while. And then on the 4th day, I guess was like the moment when I had a really big breakdown. I realized what is happening, and that I also I might not manage to come back to my normal life, to my friends, to the teachers, and to just all of my goals and all of my dreams which I had before. I was there for a month or so. During the first 4 days, I think that was the most complicated situation with my brain, because the first day you still don't realize what is happening. You still think whether you should leave or not, so you're very indecisive. The second day you wake up with the hope, okay, it might be a dream, I just dreamt about it yesterday. The third day is when you start realizing what the hell is going on, because it's all over the news, it's all over the TV, you don't know what to do. This is the first time when I saw my mom freaking out that much, because my mom she's very responsible in a way. She always knows what to do and how to manage everything. However, back to those days, she was advising with me what should she do, and how we should go, how we should continue our lives. So and I was 16, so yeah, I think I know a lot about life, but still, when it comes to the topic of the war, of course, I never had an experience on anything like that. And then the 4th day is actually when you understand, okay, we're here, and I might not get out, I might die any moment, so this is how it is. But for me, for example, many people, they were struggling with the acceptance of the situation. With me was I realized that what can happen to me, what can happen to my family. I know that for now there is no escape room, and this is just how it's gonna be. So I was just waiting in a way, and I was doing everything that was possible. So I was trying to study, I was trying to socialize, by talking to my friends as much as possible. And I should say that many people were supporting me, so it also helped me a lot. So yeah.
The first day was super crazy. Actually, not a lot of people believed in it, but still there was a lot of talks what the banks are going to be closed, what there is not going to be any possibility to leave the country, and so on. I was in Russia at that moment, and I saw how people literally run to the banks, trying to take all of their money which were on their accounts, just to be safe. What the currency of ruble super fastly went up, and it was just scary. I started calling my friends and trying to find any contact with them, and so as my father did, because he has a lot of family members which are in Ukraine, and he called them, and everyone was super scared. So yeah, the first day of war was super stressful and in some point painful for me. I left Russia not a long time after the 24th, and that was the first time in my life when my father actually came to pick me up from my house, and I saw what my father, a person never gonna be scared of something, but he was scared, and it was obvious. I could see it in his eyes, and he came to my house and he was like, "Are you sure you want to travel today?" Because that was the plane from Russia to Switzerland. It was flying on above the Ukraine, and so it was super dangerous at that moment. And so when we went to the airport, it was early in the morning, but I saw no people, and it was kind of shocking because I already used to travel and I travel a lot. But that day there was literally no one in there. Yeah, and honestly, when I left the country, when I left Russia, it was the last plane which flies straight to Switzerland, and it was the last day when the planes actually flight from Russia, and a lot of my friends who were also studying with me in Switzerland, they were not able to fly from Russia to Switzerland because all of the flights got cancelled.
When I left Ukraine, when I had actually the chance to leave Ukraine, I didn't say bye to my father. This is the only thing which I regret the most, because he didn't actually realize that I was leaving, as he wasn't able to actually come to our house and to stay with me and my mom because of his position, which I'm not gonna mention. So basically this is the only thing which I'm still thinking a lot about, and I still really want to change that moment, because I thought that he just couldn't come. This is why he didn't come. However, then I should mention that there was no internet, no electricity, so barely the electricity and internet, it was almost gone. So we had like a very weak connection between each other. And when I already left my area, my city, only then he realized that I left. And he was the person who actually helped me out. And because before I was doing the volunteering work with his friends, and this is how his friend found me, so through my father, and this is how I had a chance to leave. And that was the thing about it. So when I was leaving my city, I was freaking out a lot, because there were a couple of the block posts which you needed to pass in order to actually get out of your city. And when you were leaving the block posts, you actually needed to lie to a person about your goals, why you're leaving the city, why you need to go there or there, because the block posts were occupied with Russian soldiers, and they were the ones deciding whether to shoot you, whether to turn you back home, or whether to let you go. And so each block post, I had a different reason why I was leaving my city. And also the people who were inside the car with me, so that was a driver and another lady, I was saying that we're just a family. She's my aunt, he's my uncle. We're going to our summer house just because we think that there it's safer and everything. So this is how they let us out. Personally, as far as I know, many of my friends, they had the people who got shot because we don't have any green corridors, and this is why I couldn't leave as well. The fields were mined, and actually I was passing by the field which was mined as well, so that was kind of a guess game. So either you're gonna step on the mined area, either you're gonna pass it by and nothing is gonna happen to your car. So that was, I think, the scariest moment for me and for the people inside that bus in which I was as well. So basically many of my friends and me as well, we have people who got injured, got killed because of the absence of the green corridors, and even when we had the green corridors, they still were shotted, and so many people just didn't make it out of the city.
When I came, there was a lot of talks, there was a lot of words said towards Russian people. I had a lot of friends from Ukraine. Some of them just decided to start ignoring me, saying some really mean stuff about Russians. On the other side as well, I had a friend of mine and she is a Ukrainian and we've been friends for a long time, and there was literally no conflict between two of us, and I realized at that moment what the real friends and the real friendship can exist even though there is a war in your country, but still. At the end, this girl, we just realized we were scared to go out from our room because we did not know what to expect from people for example, French or Swiss people, because they did not know what exactly going on, but they just wanted to talk it out, and we did not understand what is going on. And at the end, we just decided with her to make a speech in front of the whole school, at least the school, to calm down people, and we did it, and we went on stage, and then it got a little bit viral on the internet.
I don't expect anyone to be in the airport, because the only person whom I thought who knew about me coming, that was my house parent, as I am a boarder. And yeah, so I didn't expect that people actually cared, to be honest, because it's been a month and I knew that here the life still went on, everything was normal for everyone, and I was like one of the few ones who was stuck in that hell. And I just didn't expect that anyone would actually dedicate their time and come and see me. And when I got out of the entrance, I was just so happy, like so happy. I realized that I'm safe. I see people whom I love. I'm loved back as well in a way, because people who were meeting me, they were just like the closest friends only. So yeah, for me it was complicated to be in the boarding, because when you realize that everyone and everything is normal, is quite normal in Europe especially. Yeah, people care about everything and everyone, but of course, in a way, if you never passed anything like that in your life, if you never experienced anything like that in your life, you cannot fully imagine or understand someone. And this is not to blame people. This is actually, I'm very happy that not many people in Europe actually experience something like that, because this is horrible and it just like leaves the effects on your health for like, I think for the rest of your life for sure, or at least your life goals, and like you basically rethink and revise everything and all the moments from your life. So in boarding, when you see people still going out, still being funny, happy, and yeah, the thing is that you actually realize that everything is okay, and Ukraine is just like some kind of a whole different universe, which just doesn't exist in normal lives of people. It's hard to find someone who will understand you and who will kind of support you, because I'm also this kind of a person that I try never like to let out my negative feelings, like what I actually feel like, because I don't want to ruin someone's mood because of my things which are going on in my life. Like in a way, I think that this is none of others' business, because yeah, at the end of the day, you're by yourself and you should be able to cooperate with anything that is happening in your life. And while relying on someone, you're ruining your own emotional state and someone else's emotional state as well.
Yes, once I was applying for a visa to UK, it happened in Switzerland, in Geneva, and I applied it myself because my parents still live in Russia, and I applied to it, I booked an appointment, I paid for it. I came at the exact date when my appointment was, and then the woman who was working there, she just decided what she's not gonna accept my documents. First, she tried to say what I'm underage and all, but I had all of the confirmations of my parents and stuff, and I was actually traveling to my older brother who lives in there. So she just said no in super weird way. After that, she just told me to get out from her room. I went to the waiting room, and there was the family from Ukraine. And she accepted them even though they did not have an appointment booked or something, but okay, fine. Then she called the bodyguard. The bodyguard just threw me out of the place, and at the end, the Ukrainian family just came out after me, and they just started saying what I do not really deserve to live in Switzerland and so on. I do not deserve to get this visa, and yeah, that was my first time in the life when people actually acted this way towards me. Mostly I understood this year how important the friendship is, and how important any relationships between people are important, because I honestly, personally lost a lot of friends. I realized how important is it to see your parents. Before, I used to think what it's normal to see your parents, and now I realize I looked at some of my friends who haven't seen their parents for about like a year as well, and it's shocking, it's scary. Like the most thing what changed inside of me is how I treat people now. And I realized what every time when you see the person, and even when you finish the conversation on some fighting, just say bye-bye to him. You don't know if you will see him tomorrow or you won't.
Things which I valued before the war are pretty much the same as they are now. However, something just increased in its value a lot. For example, safety. When you're in a safe country, when nothing is bothering you, you don't really care about it, honestly. You go out every day, you study, you eat, and you just live your normal life. When you don't have this kind of safety and you don't have this the level of security anymore in your life, of course you revalue and you think over many things which you didn't do, which you didn't manage to do on time, whom you want to talk to as well. And so basically, I think for me it wasn't really about the values, it was more about the people whom I miss a lot, and whom I want to see at least one more time. So yeah, I think that was it. About my family, my friends, I always and still value them and valued before. So now I'm just trying to enjoy every moment that I have right now. And what actually changed in my life, that I remove the people who don't care about me anymore, in a way that why would I waste my energy and my time if I can waste it, if I can spend it on people who actually value me and who want to be with me. So yeah, I think this is the only thing. However, other than that, I think everything stayed pretty much the same. I think for me the most complicated thing was going to school, to study there, because the school is situated next to the airport, and of course all the noises, especially when you're in a building, it's kind of like a safety reflex which just turns on, and sometimes I still have it. So you don't feel safe because of the sound, and this is hard to explain. It's just hard to cooperate with, and it's hard to concentrate sometimes on the lesson as well when you hear something passing by and something which is very loud. So I think in a way I became more attentive to other sounds which were louder than usually. And yeah, this is pretty much it. So I'm happy that it didn't hit me in a worse way, because it could have. I think throughout the interview you must have heard the noises of the airplanes. If I was sitting here half a year ago or maybe a year ago, I think most probably I would have a panic attack and I wouldn't continue the interview no longer.
How
That's
did
for
you
sure.
go through it?
Psychological help helped me a lot. I'm still seeing the psychologist. She still advises me some things, how I should cooperate with them, how I should how I should treat them in my life. I also had my own things because I was trying to overcome my fears as quickly as possible. So during the summer holidays, I was trying out the gym program, the breathing program, yoga, talking to more people, having more friendships, and yeah, just trying out my hobbies, which I wanted to try out before. And I think not only the psychologist, to be honest, if you are not going to communicate with anyone, it won't contribute to your own benefit at all. So I think friends who were around me, they helped me the most, and psychologists as well. Yeah. What really surprised me about our international community is that some people who are our teachers, which is even more surprising to me, really don't care about what is happening in the world. Moreover, when it's a sociology teacher and the teacher doesn't read the news, maybe, I don't know, but in my opinion, when a teacher knows that there is a student who just escaped from war, where everything was striking you to kill, I think it could be very, very mature and thoughtful of a person who's an adult to actually think and not to turn on the video where the shooting scene is with the full volume on. So of course, when I heard that, I had a panic attack and I needed to leave the classroom because it was my second or third week in my normal life where I was trying to forget in a way everything that was happening to me like 3 weeks ago. And so basically when I needed to leave the classroom because I started to cry and I didn't want anyone to actually see what I was going through. When I came back to the classroom, the teacher was so surprised that I left that she asked me to tell her the next time when it's something like that is going to happen to me, to tell her when I'm going to come back, when I'm going to manage to come back. I'm going to count the seconds and tell her the next time. Yes. No, but for me, it was just so irresponsible, irritative, and arrogant in a way when an adult does something like that to you. And maybe she didn't think about that, but I think she should have thought about that, about something as serious as that.
When I left Russia for the first time, everything was good there. The shops were open, the food in the shops, in the stores were good and so on. But when I came back, I saw on the news a lot of things talking about what all of the shops are running away from Russia and stuff like that. I did not believe this. But then when I came back to Russia and I went to the shopping mall, which is next to my house, and there was everything, like something to do with this something. I went there and there was literally nothing. All of the shops were closed. It honestly looked like a left city because there was much less people on the streets. Literally nobody was in the malls. Not a lot of people were buying food in the shops because the quality of the products went down so much. That was the first impression how the war changed my country, and it was scary. Also, the fact what mobilization is taking a place right now in there, and it's super scary because a lot of my friends were taken to the army, and we don't have any connections with them right now because they don't have any internet, they don't have any ability to contact even their parents, and they were only like 18, 19 years old. One friend of mine, that actually happened, I was going on the stairs to his apartment, and then on the stairs I saw the policeman, and I was like just asking a random question. I was like, "Who are you waiting for?" And then this policeman took off the documents and he was like, "That guy, do you know him? Do you live here?" And I realized what he was talking about, my friend, and I was like, straight away I called my friend and I was like, "Please don't open the door." So yeah, and this is so scary because like every time now when you see the policeman, you're getting scared of them because you don't know what to expect. And also there is one situation took place. One grandma, when in Dnipro the tragedy happened and the rocket went into the house and a lot of people got killed. This grandma in Moscow, she took some flowers and she decided to bring it to the monument. So she did it, and she was with the dog at that moment. And so just random police car took and picked her up, and the dog was just thrown out of the car randomly on the street. And then the policeman, the only thing what they said about this whole situation is what Ukrainians deserve that, and there is no need to put any flowers on these Ukrainian monuments which are standing in Russia, in Moscow, and these monuments have to be destroyed.
About my dreams, I had them before, and they're big ones. They were the big ones. I still have, and now I think I'm even more ambitious, even stronger, and I think they're even bigger now. So I really want to come back to my normal life when I don't care about the majority of stuff, which I shouldn't. I think I shouldn't care about at my age. I want to be lighter in a way that problems which I'm going through right now, they also impact my mental state and the way sometimes I react to things. So I just want to socialize more in a way, I think, to have more fun in my life, yeah, and to have more fun in my life. Right now it's a bit more complicated because when you understand what your parents are passing through, it's hard to segregate yourself from your closest people in your life with whom you were growing up your entire life with. And yeah, one of my biggest dreams right now is to become successful, and for that I know my steps. I need to get into a good university. I'm trying hard to work for my results. I want to help out my parents. I want to help out my parents now and after, as well as I want to make people be more open-minded and more educated about something that is happening not with them, but for example, even with their neighbors. Because right now what Ukraine is going through is something that would impact the whole world if Ukraine wasn't actually fencing the territory between Europe and Russia.
Before, I used to fly from Russia to Switzerland it was a straight flight, and it took like about 3 hours. So in total, the whole traveling was like about 4 to 5 hours. Now there's only 2 countries which are accepting the Russian flights, and it's Dubai and Turkey. And from Dubai and from Turkey, it's basically like the shortest time taken for the flight. It's like about 9 hours. So before, I used to come back to Russia every like a month or so, but now to go to Russia only like 2 times a year, and that means I don't see my parents, I don't see my family. My brother is living in London, and for him it's even harder to go back to Russia because he's 21 right now, and the moment he will come back to Russia, the policeman will just pick him up in the airport and to the army. I haven't seen my brother as well because of the traveling things already for like 2.5 years probably. And also the cost. Before, the cost from Switzerland to Russia was like about 300 francs per flight. Now it's about 1,500. So it's incredibly changed.
I think I reconsidered a lot the positions of people who surround me. Of course, Ukraine is having the war with Russia, and many people also ask me like, how am I treating Russian people? And I think, as in any other country, there are people who don't understand anything in their lives, who just follow by everything that is said on the TV, and in Ukraine we call them zombies. However, there are many people who support you, who are from Moscow, who are from Cheboksary and other regions of Russia. They try to develop their own minds because, for example, if their parents are for the war, their parents support Putin, and they just feel like something is going wrong. I think that's I think I might have another opinion. So I had many people in my life throughout this year who came up to me and were asking me, I'm just very curious, what is happening in between our countries? Is it true about Donbass? Is it true about your city? How's your family doing? So I think right now I'm just relying on the personal factor, if a person is mindful or not. Some of the Russian people, however, had the audacity to actually text me when I was in my city and when I was under the bombs, which actually Russian planes were living in my city, dropping off. So basically, they were texting me that Putin is the best, Ukraine is actually responsible for everything that is happening just because we're Ukraine, without any actual facts or examples. They were also saying lots of things about Biden and America, so they were blaming basically the whole world but for themselves. However, when I came back, and I think they didn't actually expect me to get out from my country being still alive, and they started to apologize, and that was just insincere, I guess, that I didn't value that at all, and I couldn't care less. So yeah, those people just don't exist to me anymore.
Me personally, I think what this exact phrase is not very correct to say, because that is happening in my country, and it is actually taking place.
Yeah, I know about the opinion that some Ukrainians just hate Russians. But, however, in my opinion, it's really stupid because this is what the Russian president wanted us to be like. He wanted our countries to actually be separated, and he wanted to people even inside my country to argue between each other, because I think half of the population in Ukraine is speaking in Russian, half of the population in Ukraine is speaking in English, and I think everyone has their own right to speak whatever language they want, to communicate and to be friends with whoever they want. However, many people think that they have the right to choose for someone else. So yeah, so I think it's just it's also this kind of this is just the kind of the closed-minded mentality which we need to think about one more time. However, I also do understand some of the Ukrainians, including myself. I'm one of the people who lost quite a big chunk of their normal lives, including some of my relatives, some of my very close people who are still questionable in where they are at and what is going to happen to them next. So yeah, not the half, but some part of our population actually blames Russians for everything. I think for some people it's just easier to blame someone. Someone is a Russian person in our example nowadays. So I think this is just easier not to accept this whole situation and just find the victim who are themselves and saying that like, oh okay, this is because of you and you and you, because of you three everything happened, so just like live with that, and yeah, you're the killers of the world, you're the terrorists of the world, even though the people who are of my own generation who didn't do anything personally by themselves, yeah, I can understand the people who are their grandmothers, for example, even their parents. However, the people who are 15, 18, 20, 25, they couldn't do much, to be honest, because when Putin was there, they were just born or weren't born at all. So blaming someone just for everything is just thoughtless, and I think after maybe they're gonna pass through the stage when they're gonna actually realize, okay, I wasn't right, maybe at some point we will become friends again. However, I think many centuries need to pass through the generations so that everything can start fluctuating and functioning between Russia and Ukraine again. Чей Крым? Блять.